Hello, I'm Greg Naiman. You're in the right place for a session on safe and effective use of generative AI in clinical and research medicine. Before we begin, take a look at this image. It might look familiar. It resembles the hurricane forecast graphics you see during hurricane season. But something is missing. I'll give you a moment to think about what it is. Today we're going to talk about how to use generative AI safely and effectively in clinical care and research. Let's start with some definitions, because understanding how these systems work under the hood will make everything else clearer. Large language models, or LLMs, seem very human, but what they're actually doing is mapping statistical relationships between words. When you give them a prompt, they predict the most probable next word, then the next most probable word after that, and so on until you get sentences, paragraphs, poems, whatever you asked for. A hallucination occurs when the model generates statistically plausible but factually incorrect information. 15 to 20% of Gen AI output is hallucinated across implementations. To mitigate this, many tools now offer traceability. Traceability pairs a generated statement with the specific text that supports it, usually from an authoritative source. This lets you verify whether the model's output is grounded in real evidence. Now we're back to the hurricane graphic. What was missing was the cone of uncertainty. Hurricanes start with initial conditions and then follow probabilistic paths, and LLMs work the same way. They begin with your prompt and then move probabilistically through possible next words. The difference is that hurricanes, when mapped like this, show their uncertainty, while LLMs do not. If we could visualize that uncertainty, it would change how we interpret AI-generated answers. Let's move on to HIPAA. You already know the basics. Identifying information like names and dates of birth, private information like diagnoses and medications cannot be transmitted to an unsecured endpoint without patient permission. The risk with generative AI is that you may unintentionally transmit HIPAA-protected information. Even if you don't include a name or date of birth, you may still be using HIPAA identifiers without realizing it. For example, date of service is a HIPAA identifier, and the timestamp of your prompt is often the same day you saw the patient. Any age over 89 is a HIPAA identifier. Additionally, rare diagnoses can also be identifying. If you put these into a chat window, you may be violating HIPAA and you can be held legally responsible. There are safe, HIPAA-compliant tools for patient care questions. Doximity and Open Evidence are two examples. I personally use Doximity. If you're a physician, you already have a Doximity account. You just need to activate it to access Doximity GPT. Next, let's talk about literature searches. Residents have handed me background sections with citations that were completely hallucinated. If you submit that to a journal and they check, you will be called out and people will remember. There are reliable literature search tools. I use Elicit. Consensus and Cite are also solid. Perplexity is useful but sometimes pulls from non-medical sources. All of these tools offer traceability. They show you exactly where their claims came from. Here's an example from Elicit. On the left is the AI-generated summary. If I click a citation, it opens the source document and highlights the exact passage the model used. This makes it easy to ensure your writing matches reality. Now, medical writing with AI. If you want to get into trouble, the worst thing you can do is fail to disclose AI use. Journals now require authors to state what role AI played in generating their manuscript. The second worst thing you can do is say, ChatGPT, write my paper. Here's some points. That invites hallucinations. A much better workflow is this. Do your literature search. Obtain the full text of your citations. Your medical librarian or I can help with that. Upload those PDFs into the AI tool. Write your background section based on those PDFs yourself. Do not use AI to do that for you. Paste your background section into the chat. Ask AI, is my background section well supported by these sources? Am I missing any points? Please use only the information from the uploaded documents. If I've made any unsupported claims, tell me explicitly. This dramatically limits the model's room to hallucinate. Now, let's talk about research data. You cannot simply upload your data set to ChatGPT and ask it to run statistics. First, if your data set contains any of the 18 safe harbor identifiers, uploading it is a HIPAA violation. Most people don't realize how many identifiers there are. Second, our IRB requires you to disclose where you will share your data. If you plan to run de-identified data through a cloud-based AI tool, you must inform the IRB ahead of time. This is the safest and most compliant approach. You can also run AI models on your own computer. I do this, but it requires a significant hardware investment, essentially a gaming class PC. To wrap up, LLMs hallucinate, and the less information you give them, the more they fill the gaps with confabulation. Cloud-based AI tools are not inherently HIPAA protected. It is very easy to violate HIPAA without realizing it. Traceability helps you detect hallucinations, and there are proper protocols for handling research data safely. All right, thank you for sitting with this. Please don't forget to take the included quiz to track completion and retention.